There is a better Prime Minister in there, fighting to get out. Keir Starmer is not a typical politician. He's uncomfortable in the limelight, he's got little interest in policy, and he appears free of any ideological commitment. It felt as if we might have accidentally stumbled on the perfect man for the job at that particular moment in time. The ideal candidate after our experience with Boris Johnson and Liz Truss. Someone who could show decency and competence. Someone who would show that mainstream politics works, that it can deliver what populism merely promises. At this stage, Starmer had two key people around him. One was Morgan McSweeney, his election strategist. The other was Sue Gray, his chief of staff. Within a matter of months, Gray was gone. A vicious war, and vicious internal war, resulted in Starmer getting rid of her and putting McSweeney in the chief of staff role. Once Gray was replaced by McSweeney, Starmer's administration became highly political and intensely reactive. It was very clearly responding exclusively to the daily priorities of the newspapers. This corroded the Prime Minister's competence, replacing careful work to get sort NHS waiting times, for instance, with daily Westminster noise. Then it started to corrode his decency. On immigration, the constant hype around reform led the Prime Minister to make a disastrously misjudged speech in which he spoke of an island of strangers and used increasingly lurid language about immigration. On trans issues, he ended up denying that a trans woman was a woman, going far beyond the judgment of the Supreme Court and suddenly sounding exactly like Sunak, who had once offended him so deeply. The situation is fixable, but it requires action now. McSweeney should be moved into a position where he plans the next election, rather than having supreme authority of the administration. The existing working structure in number 10 should be replaced with a rationalised system designed to deliver results on the NHS, crime, the economy and transport, the kind of things which will decide the next election. This is likely to involve a return to the best Downing Street models, for instance that of Blair's second term. He is such a strange, mercurial figure. For all his flaws, we see occasional flashes of brilliance, especially in a crisis. Often we see a welcome sense of humility, such as his regret for the island of strangers speech. For a politician, he is really unusually comfortable admitting that he's wrong. There is a better Prime Minister in there, fighting to get out. But there is still every chance that Starmer's better elements will prevail. They remain the best way of defeating populism and putting Farage back in his box.